Hello, welcome to the 100th Special Moves podcast. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake and Liam McKelvey. I can't believe it's 100 episodes, man.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations to us. Congratulations to our listeners for getting 100 of these. This is one podcast you do not want to fuck with. Listen, you know what? Yeah, it's nearly been 2 years. So that's cool. We did it. It's not a surprise. I kind of wish it
has been two. Has it? When did we start?
It has, but we've had weeks off in it. But it's nearly been, if you watched our podcast,
years worth of podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I guess I wish we was on the sofa together, but it's a global pandemic still.
Yeah. Not in my lifetime, son.
Blighting the 100 episode special. So, what have we got special planned for it? Absolutely nothing. Because we've decided instead that we will gather all of our power and energy towards Christmas and New Year. So that week off when everyone's eating Toblerones and being happy in that, we can then give you the game of the year, the game of the generation, and whatever. But for now, business as usual. So
we did think about that kind of thing, didn't we? But it was
if you want to leave your favorite special news moments in the last 100 episodes, then you've got a very good memory, because I can't remember what we did last week. But if you've got any memories, anything that you want to talk about, memories, we all shared collectively. let us know in the comments, and we'll give them some special love this week. Yeah. It's like a eulogy, but we're still alive.
Please help, because I don't know who these guys are. So anything you
every week. And Liam McKelvey Jr.
So we've got it's quite a quiet week for releases, really. It's in comparison to what we have had. I think so anyway. So we've got a few things to talk about anyway. Thanks everyone who sent us in some emails. We've had some lovely messages this week from people just talking about the 100 episodes and stuff and what have you. So thanks everyone who sent stuff in for us to read.
You know what? Yeah, because it is the 100th episode, I'm going to do something special. I'm going to put the salt lamp on, right? But it might give me a bit of an insidious orange glow for the video watchers.
Yeah.
So just just ignore it. Yeah, just for this one, because it is 100 episodes. There you go. All right, we can carry on. Sorry.
That's a nice. Why haven't you always got that on? Oh, it's because it looks like there's a fire.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it looks like I got the fucking Eye of Sauron peering at me, innit?
Yeah.
But do you know what? Just have a look at the salt lamp in my reflection for the rest of the podcast. If you're an audio listener, of course, it doesn't matter to you, but we're very thankful that you're here 100 episodes in. So thank you very much. I put a salt lamp on for the special occasion. All right, sorry to disrupt things as usual.
We normally do have the salt lamp, don't we? So maybe that is a nice way of honouring back on the sofa. In the sofa days, we did have a salt lamp. Yes. So, yeah. It actually kind of melts, by the way. You need to look out for that. The salt lamp kind of deteriorates slowly. So you got
I actually only put it on for special occasions, So, so I think I'm going to get a lot of years out of this salt lamp.
Yeah, maybe.
I could have either done that, or I could have just hammered it so it was melted by Christmas. So you'd get me another one.
I think you'd really have to have it on around the clock and be kind of cranking up the voltage on it a little bit.
Maybe give it the occasional rub. Yeah.
I've already had to replace a bulb in mine.
Yeah. Well, no complaint.
It literally I put it on one day and the bulb exploded inside it.
Is this enough Himalayan salt lamp chatter for it to maybe get in a title now?
Maybe.
People might think it's an exciting new game. Put it next to Crash 4.
It's a good name for a studio, like Himalayan salt lamps. They just make like walking simulators, a bit like a Chinese room or something like that. You know what I mean?
The Himalayan salt lamp.
Doesn't just why, but there you go.
I'm so sorry that I did this. Right.
Okay. So we've got some emails to read out. Thanks everyone for sending them in. Remember, the address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com if you want to send that in. Anything you want to talk about, mention, any opinions you have. If you want to, what a lot of people have been doing recently, which is quite cool, is kind of adding on to the whatever we've been talking about in the podcast. They'll kind of come back in the emails, and someone will. That's happened a couple of times this week, which is pretty cool. So if you want to just join in the discussion, basically, and you don't want to do it in the YouTube comments, send us an email. Right. I mean, I don't really know where to start this week, because it's kind of been. There's not been like a big kind of obvious juicy news story, which we've kind of been able to rest on a bit in the last few weeks, because there's always been something massive. There's always been like a big, thing that's happened that we obviously have to talk about. And I don't think that's really the case this week. But it has been like, and I don't want it to become the, the PlayStation and Xbox podcast where every single week we talk about the consoles, but there has been quite a few little bits and bobs of news from both camps, which is kind of, Xbox is looking good. Xbox is looking really good.
Especially with what I read this morning about the installation. I guess we'll talk about that, maybe. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Well, so let's preface it by talking about the PlayStation 5 hardware being unveiled in Japan. Content creators, YouTubers, famous Japanese YouTubers, Japanese language as well, have got the PS5 hands-on. They're going through the menus and comparing it to their cats, like doing height comparisons and whatnot. And over here in the West, same. We got a bunch of, Jeff Keighley's and whatever fucking making shit Twitter posts about, I've got an Xbox. Yeah, so you can see them both now. You see what they're both doing. Obviously, with the Japan look through of the menus, one of the things is the storage settings, and when you take into account the operating system and all of that sort of stuff, the hard drive that comes standard with the PS5 is actually only 664 gig of memory, which is about 2 Call of Duty Modern Warfares. And the Xbox, so just get that news and put it on the side. So then now the reason this is kind of exciting news is that Xbox Series X are saying that they're kind of encouraging the developers of their games to make the games installs a bit more modular, so you can install just parts of a game. So if there's a game with bolt-on multiplayer that you're not so interested in, you can do that. So the confusing thing here is I actually already thought that was a thing, because Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare that came out, you could download just a single player, just the Battle Royale and just the thing. But I think the thing that was confusing them was like when there was an update, even if it was just an update for one of them, it was still a 120 gig update, right? Which if you assume that bullshit doesn't happen with the new games, right? Because I don't think it's standard affair for there to be 120 gig updates. That could be a really big thing for the Xbox, right? Because games looks like they're getting bigger, but I think that's maybe a little bit of a telltale sign of how they're going to kind of adapt it. Just having this ability to just download one part. So I guess that's pretty cool news. But
it's certainly every stage it's kind of Xbox going down the leaning towards kind of user, customizability, user friendliness, freedom of, the platform feels like it's pretty open in comparison because of that kind of that level of control that you've got as someone who's got an Xbox. Then you can, even though I've got to say with Call of Duty, I found that a massive pain in the ass. Like when I was going in when it downloaded, it was installing the game and then it was downloading the update, and then I had to go into the options menu to be like, well, I want Spec Ops or whatever, so I'll add that, and that's like 26 gig, and I'll add this, and that's so that modular thing was a bit of a pain. But I guess COD is kind of an extreme example where it isn't just single player and multiplayer. It's like single player and then like 5 different types of multiplayer or whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, it just, you just can't help but feel that everything that happens, Xbox seem to like have you feel like, well, that's actually better on the Xbox side. Do you know what I mean? Like with the size of the console. Yeah, I think Xbox is better. the look of the console, the Xbox is better. The value proposition in the games, the Xbox is better. So it's really interesting, really good. And I think it's totally what this gen needed. I think is this kind of not that, because PS5 is so far. There's been a few things about the PS5 that I'm not happy about. Mainly the price of the games and mainly the price of the games, but the size and the look of the system. I guess I could overlook that, but it's the 70 quid game thing is an eye-waterer. Still trying to get my head around that. Has there been anything else console-wise in the news this week?
Or just like, I guess the hands-on.
Yeah.
If you're really into it,
like Digital Foundry and a few other places got hands-on with the backwards compatibility stuff of the Xbox, and it was really good what they showed off. Like, like games where you could have like different modes you could choose from. Like Monster Hunter World has like 3 different modes, doesn't it? You can have like performance, resolution, or whatever. And they were testing it out on like the Xbox Series X, and it was pulling off some good stuff. Like games that had like really wobbly frame rates were now hitting like solid 60 FPS across the board. Like games that have like dynamic resolution were hitting like 4K pretty much all the time, whereas before they were like fluctuating constantly. Games that like had really bad problems with like stuttering and juddering completely fixed in backwards compatible mode on the Xbox Series X. It was cool to see that like even if you get like an Xbox Series X and say, I don't know, you run out of new games to play, you burn through all the launch titles, but then you go, oh, I've got like Monster Hunter that I was meaning to pick back up, and you can play it better than it's ever been without having to rebuy it. It's just stuff like that I think is a big win for the Xbox camp.
Totally. And again, in comparison, in comparison, the PlayStation thing again, when you think about Spider-Man and the Spider-Man situation, which we have kind of talked about, but the fact that you buy Miles Morales and then you buy it a little bit more with a bit more money, and it costs whatever it is it 70 quid or 80 quid for the version where you get Spider-Man remastered as
70,
well.
Yeah.
But even though some games are given free upgrades on the PlayStation, Spider-Man as a first-party title isn't. You got to pay. You got to pay for the upgrade, and the only way of getting the upgrade is by buying Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
which is just not as good, is it? It's just not as.
It's I think what they said, like if you buy just the normal edition of Miles Morales, the one that is still, mind you, 55 quid or whatever it is, you can pay like £20 if you really want the remastered version of Spider-Man as well. So you don't have to buy the Ultimate Edition to get it straight away. You can buy the normal Miles Morales, and then if say you want more Spider-Man in your life, you can pay a £20 upgrade fee to bump it up to the Ultimate Edition and get Spider-Man remastered.
But again, only if you can't just pay 20 quid to get the remaster. You have to first have Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's it.
Which, it's not hopefully that Xbox's, fantastic competitiveness with pricing and stuff at the moment will fucking force Sony's hand a little bit, because, I'm not into that.
I don't think we've not seen any prices for first-party Microsoft games yet, have we?
Yeah, well, that's the other side of
Game Pass.
True. That's true, but the other side of the coin is that they haven't had to, have they? They've got Halo Infinite as their big, and where's that? It's on the side of Monster Energy drink cans at the moment, but
I was just thinking about that.
I can't remember where I was the other day, but I think it was outside a petrol station or something, and they had, like the bollards outside, just in front of the petrol station shop. They were all covered in Halo Infinite Monster Energy, branding.
Yeah,
there's about 15 of them, and this is just on Anglesey. So there's just
that's what I don't get. So can you just remind me when does it come out? Is it March
2021? Yeah, it got delayed.
So what happened there? Because that was announced in July. So they've had 3 or 4 months to readjust this marketing campaign. How early in advance were these Monster Energy drink cans? Because I was in Asda yesterday, and I'd sent a picture to you guys. Obviously, that Monster has double XP plastered all over the can. Double XP and Halo Infinite. Am I buying my Monster Energy drink 6 months in advance now? I know we're in pandemic, boys, but it's a bit fucking weird. I'm not hoarding Monster Energy drink months in advance, for the big splurge. It's just weird.
It's that's the other side of the coin, isn't it? You do know what you're getting with PlayStation in terms of exclusives, but it just costs a lot of money. But with Xbox has this fucking amazing distant promise of first party titles at the moment because of all the studios that they've recently acquired. I'm not just talking about Bethesda. I'm talking about the other. It wasn't too long ago where they acquired fucking Obsidian and Ninja Theory, right? And they've just got this good batch of studios making games for them, but we don't know. We just don't know anything about that yet. It's just the difference. We have actually had a good email on this by Chimpo, regular emailer. Thanks, Chimpo. He sent us into the Dear Special Moves inbox this email. Dear Special Moves. One thing that didn't come up in your chat about Microsoft's recent acquisition of Bethesda is the opportunity to get their brand in front of PlayStation owners. I mean, imagine this. You pop your Sony PlayStation game in after spending 70 bastard pounds on it into your Sony PlayStation. You hit play, and the first thing that pops up is published by Xbox Game Studios. Surely this is valuable to Microsoft. And I can imagine that Sony would hate this so much that they would refuse to have these games on their platform. Do you think a company like Sony would allow an Xbox logo to appear on this system? It's a pretty high price to play to have the next Skyrim or whatever on their platform. I don't know if Sony would be happy to pay it. Regards, Chimpo. That's a good point. That's an interesting point.
They are a bit bitchy, aren't they, PlayStation?
I don't think they'd have it. They'd they'd get up and walk out the room at that conference.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They are quite petty, aren't they? Meanwhile, Nintendo and Xbox are getting quite pally, and
does Cuphead on the Switch come up with Xbox Game Studios or Ori? Because I think it does, Yeah, because they're both published. Ori and Cuphead are published by Xbox, right? So, sure.
Xbox is such a fucking Chad, dude. It's so fucking Xbox is the coolest guy, man. PlayStation's looking more and more bitter and douchey. And it goes on. But Liam, you were definitely right. I don't think that they're gonna fucking have. And Chimpo is right too, right?
If they do keep putting Bethesda games on PlayStation, which I think they will, because that has a lot of money to lose out on. And they already have, as far as I know, if you boot Minecraft up on a PS4, it doesn't come up with published by Microsoft, even though they own Minecraft. But I think if they do publish Bethesda games still on PlayStation, it'll just come up with Bethesda Game Studios or ZeniMax, and they'll keep it an imprint or a label of the publisher rather than Xbox just flexing at them.
It'll be kind of when you see you just see a ton of logos, don't you? You'll just see fucking Dolby and whatever. Everyone whose technology is even remotely in Unity and everyone who's remotely involved, it'll be on that screen. Maybe it'll say Bill Gates, but it'll
just his face.
Yeah.
It makes a collage.
It all just kind of
forms a collage of Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Marvel style.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thought. But I think ZeniMax still exists, doesn't it? And ZeniMax is still the publisher. Otherwise, what role does ZeniMax have if other than just to kind of organize all of the ZeniMax studios and the way that Microsoft have been talking about kind of letting them be autonomous and not autonomous, but give them plenty of freedom and what have you. It doesn't strike me that they would be so interested as to put this is a Microsoft game on this. It'll just it's a good point though. It's an interesting point because the idea of that Xbox game, which is a Microsoft game going on the PlayStation, is pretty. We never would have thought that, would we? A month or two ago.
Well, Microsoft already have to pay Sony a fee for every Blu-ray drive they put in a console, because Sony is one of the inventors of Blu-ray. So they have to pay them a licensing fee every time they use a Blu-ray drive.
That's good. That's good knowledge. So we'll see what happens. The war's hardening up.
It is. Crash Bandicoot. Have you guys been playing this?
Nope.
Yeah. All right, then. I'll do it. Crash 4 is back. It's made by some people that didn't make the first one. It's actually pretty good, to be fair. I didn't pay for it. I just want to preface that because if I did, I might have different feelings about it. But it's so.
Because it's worth. I mean, you mentioned that, but it's worth explaining. It's expensive. Crash Bandicoot is
60 quid,
50 quid, or whatever. Yeah,
full price, whatever your full price is, where you are from,
which can't help but feel a bit weird because of the kind of game it is.
Right. So Cyberpunk comes out next month or whatever. Crash is the same price as Cyberpunk. Yeah. So just make it out what you will. Crash is, it starts off on Insanity Beach. Same way the first game started. Crash on a beach. But this one, they've been cheeky with it. They've got, at first I thought it was a bit tacky, but it does eventually charm you. Like, what I mean is, Crash is on this little beach, he's watching the telly. You spin the telly, the Crash Bandicoot 1 logo pops up. You spin the telly again, what comes up, boys? The Crash Bandicoot 2 logo. Spin it again, yeah. If you go down by the sea, he's got a little rubber dinghy, a little rubber ring in the shape of Spyro the Dragon. It's all very, hope you guys like nostalgia. So it was a bit, I played the first level, wasn't really sold on it, yeah? And then I left it for a bit. And then I came back and I pushed on through there's 2 prologue missions basically, which is just I think the story of it is like there's some sort of quantum time shifting portal thing connected to the Aku Aku masks and whatnot. They're all called like, Leo or fuck it, it's the Lalulelo, whatever sounding shit. They've all got like names like that, like alliteration. There's these quantum masks and they're causing a ruckus through time and space. So then the game gets interesting because then after that's been introduced, there's a new mechanic that's introduced, which is basically like an A and B system between dimensions, like Titanfall 2, but with the platform mechanic. So you press triangle or Y or whatever, and it flicks between it instantaneously through. So I don't know, let's say there's a canyon and there's a box that you have to jump on. You jump on that box and then there's another box, but it's like invisible. You have to shift dimensions, make that manifest, jump on that, and then press triangle again. So there's a lot of cool timing games and tricks and things that they do with the platform. And that simple mechanic is great. It's a stroke of genius because it's so simple. Anyone can pick it up. Anyone knows what it is at a glance, but it adds loads to the game. And it looks pretty cool too, bringing things in from different dimensions, I guess there's been another big change. It's kind of funny talking about a platformer like this. Do you know what I mean? But one change is that the standards, when you start the game now, the standard game, the standard loss system isn't how it used to be, where you have a set amount of lives and when you die, it's game over. You can set that to the mode if you want, and it doesn't affect the game. It doesn't affect how you get trophies or achievements or whatever. But now the new way of doing it is that it's just got a death counter, and every time you die, it gives you another death, and that will affect your overall, you get gems on Crash when you get all the boxes, and then there's the occasional colored gem. Well, now each level has 6 available gems, and if you get all 6 in a level, you will unlock a permanent skin. Yeah, very modern. So, for example, the first level, again, you get a gem for getting all the boxes, a gem for finding the gem in the level. There's a gem for doing a level without dying more than 3 times. And you get another gem for, I don't know, I think doing like a time trial. But if you unlock all those gems, you will unlock like a wacky Crash Bandicoot skin that's permanent that you can put on him. It's a permanent cosmetic change. Yeah. Speaking of permanent cosmetic changes, you can play the game as Coco if you want. It's exactly the same, but that's a feature that they've been banging on about, and like the marketing budget assigned just to tell people that, it's worth mentioning. They've padded it out with a bunch of stuff like this, though, to make it feel like it's worth it. And I think that maybe if you do like collectathon stuff, you might. I played the level again just to try and get the gems, but it's just Crash, but they've added like some like other little details. Like you find like a secret tape in the level. Thanks, Activision, very Tony Hawk. And if you find that flashback tape, then on the hub world, there's a secret level, and the level is done. The level is like a flashback through a surveillance camera, so it's all like got grainy VHS effects, and it's a regular level, but it's just like through some sort of like scope of like this is 50 years ago when Crash was in a secret lab of Neo Cortex. I don't know. There's just like some ideas that are confusing to explain. I know that I'm very biased when I say this, but please just take my word for it. They are super inspired by Donkey Kong Country. There's loads of like there's like the other big mechanic that comes up a lot is like the implementation of rails. I don't know if that was in the first 3. I don't remember that it was really. But like Sonic Adventure, huh?
No, I'm saying I don't think there was rails in the first 3.
Well, this has whole sections of the level where it's like Sonic Adventure Battle 2 or 1, where you jump on and you grind along the rail and the camera goes behind you and you're doing that. Or like the minecarts in Donkey Kong Country. It's exactly like the minecarts, actually. Same mechanics, same buttons. It's the camera even goes to the sides and you can go up or down. They've taken so much inspiration from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, that it's obvious if you've played it. But it's the best platform of all time, so of course they have. All I've got to say is like it's quite fun. You can pick it up and put it down, which I guess is what you want from a game like this.
Yeah.
I think. Do you know what? In fact, I think much of the things that people liked about the trilogy that came out a couple of years ago now, could apply to this. All the benefits are there. Apart from, it's trying new things that you can take or leave. This gem thing I'm on about doesn't really matter in the scheme of things. All you're getting is a skin, so you can make Crash look different. But you're playing a single player game, so who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
just got something to play towards, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't care, you don't have to do it. You can just crack on with it. There's a story there that's like it's kid friendly. It's all a bit of nonsense. I was skipping the cutscenes by the second fucking level, just getting through.
Hard man. I'm gonna fuck about Crash Bandicoot.
No, but I mean, like, I normally will only skip stuff if it's like Assassin's Creed babble. Like, do you know what I mean? But Crash is really straightforward.
Exactly what you mean.
But there's a lot of cutscenes in the game to the point where by level 2, I was already sick of it. I was already like, listen, I don't fucking care about these masks no more. Let me grind it up, baby. So, the implementation of the quantum shift, dimension shift mechanic is cool, but I don't think I could say I recommend it for the price that it comes in at. But
that's the thing, isn't it? It's so important though. It's such a important factor, and I don't know. It's just seems to be kind of a hot topic at the moment because of the prices of next gen stuff on the PS5. But it's worth thinking about, like how much are you paying for it and how much will you get out of it, and think the discount like down the line as well is so steep. That's the other side of it. You can get things so cheap.
I think it's a bit of a casual gamer who, I don't know. I think about my sister-in-law. She doesn't play many games. She goes, she sees that new Crash game is out. How much is it? Well, it's £60. Okay, that's the price of all new games, and that's a new game. I'll get it. That's the conversation over in her head, isn't it? She's not like going, but I mean, for that same money, I could get Persona 5 Royale, and that's like 200 hours. Right. So I guess that's the play that they're going for. For people who have maybe just got back into gaming after some time, or they've got a console that their the cooler younger sibling has, or whatever, and they want to go in for that purchase, and then the price is just the same price as all the other new games. What difference does it make to them if it's not Geralt of Rivia for 100 hours? So I guess, but for people like us, and for people like everyone listening who kind of knows, that's kind of it. It's a bit much,
No, it is. So that's Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time, which is on PS4 and Xbox One right now, if you want to play it. So I mean, we have had another email about the whole kind of Sony situation, which I'm sorry to kind of feel like we're retreading, but it is a bit it's a bit a different point. And the person who sent this in has put some Welsh in it, in the email, which is nice. So this is another emailing out the Special Moves inbox. This is from Sanjay Jayavel in India, who says, "Hiya, Arbenig gamers." That's Google Translate effort from Sanjay there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone listening knows what the word gamers means. So,
exactly.
Sanjay,
you can get higher as well, I guess. Can't
yeah.
you? So Sanjay says this. He's excited for the 100th podcast. Appreciate the time and effort you guys put into the podcast to make our Mondays a bit easier. My journey in the gaming world has been varied. I started off with a Pentium 2 processor on PC,
Nice.
playing games like Road Rash and Diablo 2. I then got a PS2 and switched back to a gaming laptop and then a PS4. While I do appreciate both the Series X and PS5, I'm starting to feel like Sony doesn't give a shit about consumers. Some of my thoughts. Number one, they don't give a shit about India. The PlayStation India Twitter account is defunct and has not announced prices and pre-order dates for India. Meanwhile, Xbox had everything up on day one. Now, I get COVID has caused uncertainty, but at least they could state something. Number two, Sony being completely vague about Horizon Zero Dawn and Miles Morales, the Spider-Man game, coming to PS4. Meanwhile, Microsoft got some flack for openly stating that they are going to support previous gen early on. I even feel like Ragnarok is going to come to PS4 given the close release date next year. What's Ragnarok?
God of War 2, mate.
God of War, yeah, of course, yeah. Even Demon's Souls is a timed exclusive. I'm not buying that human error in a video that is supposed to be their big reveal. Number three, Xbox has confidently sent their consoles to review to Digital Foundry and other channels, where Sony is still yet to show a video of something holding the PS5. Well, we have kind of had that through Japan, but I guess that came after the email. I don't even know if I can continue my Neo 2 on PS5. While I do care for the exclusives, I feel the way Sony is treating the consumer is making me want to just buy Game Pass and a Series X and get the PS5 with second-hand exclusives at the end of the gen. Thanks for your hard work, Sanjay. Nice one, Sanjay.
Yeah, that's a really nice email, you know.
Even though it says even though it repeatedly says Sony doesn't give a shit about consumers, but it is a nice.
And India, that's like Kanye West saying America doesn't give a shit about black people. Remember that?
Yeah.
But no, you know, because of my job, I speak to content creators from everywhere. Yeah, and there's a guy I speak to from India, like VKY Gaming Stargy. He's quite big in India, right? Sanjay might know him. Yeah, because Indian language or whatever, like. Big guy, covers a lot of the new stuff, and I offered him a game, and his reply was "lol PlayStation." So that's like, I understand. Yeah, it seems to be a thing that PlayStation's a bit of a joke, right? Because they just don't give a shit. And I do think it is like one thing I think about a lot. In my job is like when I'm working with people from everywhere, you know, we have like a PlayStation UK and there's a PlayStation in EU and whatever. But when I think about like, even like Latin American countries don't have great support for some of these consoles. Like Nintendo, Latin America is shit. And like a lot of things like that fall through. And like, you know, little small stories of like countries just getting fucked over by pricing. Like New Zealand gets it in the neck, doesn't it? Like some of the prices there are stupid.
Yeah.
And whatever. But, yeah, I think that more and more we're not trying to sound too deep about it. I think that a more general thing that's kind of happening lately with the world is that you don't have to really make a case for yourself anymore. Everything these days is about proving the people or whoever you disagree with to be bad. That's kind of the way everybody thinks and looks now. It's not about proving you're right. It's about proving other people are wrong. And I think that like in this sort of thing, like Xbox could just sit there and do nothing and they're starting to look great because people like Sanjay, like Xbox aren't doing any marketing campaign there either, I'm sure, but like PlayStation being so bad, it just turns people onto Xbox. Well, and I think that's something that Xbox have been trying to slyly do over the past couple of years. They're like, listen, we're not pushing it. Gaming should be for everyone on every platform. But if you want to come over, I got the 4K, baby.
Which is exactly, it kind of speaks to the cyclical nature of it, because that's exactly what happened in the other direction in the last gen, isn't it? It's the current gen, I guess, still technically, but the that idea that Sony was just sitting back and doing what they always do is exactly what happened. And then everybody bought a PS4 because they understood it, and it wasn't about TVX, fucking sports or whatever. It was just a games console. And of course it still had fucking Netflix and all that shit on it, but they just weren't banging on about it so much. And they weren't trying to do the DRM and all that sort of stuff. So it is cyclical, isn't it? And I think that's really interesting. Like the regionality thing is really interesting, and it does happen where certain countries, like just the three. I can't even remember what it was, but for example, the Xbox 360. It does much better in the UK than it does in America or whatever, or maybe the other way around. But it's just certain consoles kind of succeed in certain places. They fail in others, and that's a really interesting point as well. And that it's good. It's good that because you can communicate across the world so easily now that people can kind of. The flip side of there not being a PlayStation India Twitter account is that loads of Indian gamers can say there isn't a PlayStation India Twitter account. Do you know what I mean? Like they can.
And what's their excuse? Like literally hire one person to run it.
Yeah,
how
a country of a fucking billion people and they can't even.
Exactly. Do you know what the sad thing is as well? Someone would fucking do it for free. That's the thing. So it's interesting. I bought a PS3 right on the very, very end of the cycle. Cheap, secondhand, got a shitload of games on eBay in bundles. It was that close to the end of the. You could buy Uncharted 1, 2, 3 as a bundle for fucking £11. Yeah. And you know what? It's fucking great. If you don't suffer from the fear of missing out, you don't run a fantastic gaming podcast that's celebrating 100 episodes today, then I would maybe even recommend, just fucking hang back a bit, innit? Because the thing is, just spend some money on your Game Pass and you've still got 400 games. They might not be the newest games, but you probably not play them all. Just play some bangers and wait, innit? Especially if you don't know the pricing and that.
Yeah. And my honest recommendation at the moment to anyone would be Xbox Series S, I would say. If you just... if you're a PC gamer even, and you just fancy putting a machine in your living room, telly, and you can play a lot of these games on your fucking PC Game Pass, but you want to play it in the living room. I mean, 250 quid, mate, and you've already got Game Pass.
Yeah, so exactly. Because there's no point going for power. Because if you're a PC gamer, you've got a better PC than the Series S probably. So
and it's not like the Series S is shit anyway. It's not like it's particularly weak. It's not. It's just that it's not aiming to do 4K. So it's what you're getting, and that is another brilliant move, I think, where they've just focused on the resolution and said this will do 1440p. So it's not saying it'll do 4K, but it won't be as good. They're not doing that. They're just saying 1440p. So you know what you're getting. Interesting. What do you reckon about all this, Liam? Like, where are you on it at the moment? I mean, we've all pre-ordered a PS5, but
I do agree. It is I do think Sony are being needlessly secretive with the whole thing, especially the whole point. I mean, they don't even need to. I was going to say you'd think they'd want to roll out all the marketing, being look at our system, look at our UI, look at all these things you can do with it. But then they have immediately sold out of every pre-order allocation they've got. So obviously they don't need that marketing as much. Even Xbox sold out though. But I do think Microsoft is definitely appearing to be the more, like Jake said earlier, the cool guy in this situation. Whereas Sony's the Chad. And then Sony's being the stuck-up nerd who thinks he's a bit better than everyone because he's smarter and he knows he's good. But he's not afraid to tell everyone he's good.
Yeah.
But it's just and it is particularly shitty how they just disregard an entire nation. Maybe because maybe they're not as popular. I don't know the situation. Maybe they just don't sell as many consoles there, so they're just abandon it completely. But then again, Xbox does not sell well in Japan, but Microsoft and Phil Spencer absolutely refuse to give up trying to get Xbox going in Japan, even though it sells fuck all compared to PlayStation. I do think it is really shitty of them to just disregard an entire nation because for whatever reasons they have, which are probably really shitty reasons anyway.
Special Moves want to go on record to say we stand with India. We stand with Saudi.
Continent. I think that is. Perhaps we should park the console talk, if possible, for the rest of the 100th anniversary special. We just happen. We get a lot of emails about it. We are obviously heavily invested in it. It's a month before the consoles kind of arrive. There's all the news is kind of dominated by it, so it's difficult to avoid at the moment. So apologies for that. But we will redirect with another email, I reckon. This one is from Melman, who's a regular commenter as well.
Yes.
Melman controversially says, "Hello, dear special gamers. I appreciate all this kind of like Switzerland stancing that a lot of people are doing, trying to mash the revolution and the empire together.
They're going for the peace prize, aren't they? But all they're doing is pissing us off.
There is no common ground. Death to the rebellion. Death to Jake." So listen, Melman says this. "Hello, dear special gamers. Melman here from Nairobi in Kenya. I'm recently unemployed due to COVID-19, but I just published my first comic book on Amazon. That'll be available later in the week. A little plug there, but he's just been made unemployed, so
Melman can have it.
Little Fuji is the name if you're curious of the comic book. Anyway, with the departure of Leslie Benzies, Dan Houser, and recently Laszlo Jones, what do you think is the future for Rockstar Games in terms of direction and quality? Are we in for GTA 5 content updates until 2050, or should we expect what we've always gotten from them in the past? Regards, Melman."
You know what? Go on.
What?
I was just going to say, every morning on a Monday, I tweet about, the podcast being up. And I always count on Melman in the first 10 minutes. He's always there leaving a comment. So I feel like every Monday, we pass each other on the way. You know what I mean? I start my day looking at Melman and going, yeah. So I just wanted to say that, right. Well, I watched a video on the internet, on youtube.com about The Last of Us 2 recently by some fucking guy on a medicine ball, right? And it's a 52-minute.
Is that an accurate description? Was it really a guy on a medicine ball, or is it like, metaphorically some guy on a medicine ball?
It was a guy on a medicine ball in front of a green screen for 52 minutes talking about The Last of Us 2. It was I turned it off after 10 minutes because I'm not watching some guy on a medicine ball talk for 52 minutes on a green screen, right? That you can get fucked. But it was a good video.
You gave him 10 though. That's good.
Yeah, because you know what? He's good. He's good. The guy is good. But the point is, he mentioned something that I liked, and he was saying that he thinks basically The Last of Us 2 for linear story games and how it's really trying, but it's kind of overindulgent in what it's doing and a bit too much is what Red Dead Redemption 2 was for Rockstar. The Last of Us 2 for Naughty Dog is that. Which, I mean, that was good.
That is good.
It's a good point. A bit hypocritical talking about, overindulgence from a 52-minute video by a guy on a medicine ball.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. Makey Jakey. Right, so listen, I got to tell you, that to me, though, was it. Like, I'm like, Red Dead Redemption 2 is too much of a good thing. It's one too many scoops of Raspberry Ripple. You're feeling a bit sick afterwards, and you don't have good memories of it, I think, unless you're a hardcore head for that sort of thing. And you know what as well, apart from, like, I think it happened a bit more with The Last of Us 2, where it was like, this is the best game ever, or this is the fucking worst thing ever, death to everyone. That I think a lot more people have, like, come out against Red Dead Redemption 2 actually not being as good as...
Speaking anecdotally, I don't know of anyone who hasn't said that it's a slog. Do you know what I mean? That Red Dead Redemption is, even if they enjoyed it, they would say, but it was hard work at times. It was felt like a job or whatever.
So with that in mind, and that being, from what I understand, apart from the particularly avid fans, the general stance on the game I wonder if they're going to be scaling it back. That's a very long-winded way of me saying that. But the reason that's why I think it, because anyone can say, well, I think they're going to go smaller, but I really reckon that if they looked at what people liked about Red Dead 2 and why it was, why the people still play GTA 5 more than Red Dead 2, they're probably looking into a lot of the online stuff. But I wonder if scaling it back is the right thing to do. I mean, I think so, 100%. But
yeah,
I wonder if that's something that they do. And how important were those names that Mailman listed in the conversation of, we need to go bigger. We need to go bigger. And now that they're gone, maybe, or maybe it's the other way around.
I would love to see more thinking along the lines of God of War, where the flow of the adventure of the story is that's really important, and you're always progressing from A to B in that game. Mm-hmm. Whereas this Red Dead is built around like meandering simulation, looking after your horse and whatever. And I'm not saying there aren't distractions in God of War, of course there are, but it's just the whole, the core of the game is get to the top of the mountain. You get to the top of the mountain. And I know it's like it's a myth and it's easier to do with that kind of world, but I think that I hope that games will learn more from God of War than just continuous cuts are good, and going from a cutscene to gameplay seamlessly is really cool. I hope they learn, more about kind of storytelling and stuff.
Yeah,
because I think it's done really nice. Liam, what do you reckon about Rockstar?
I think they'll probably carry on as they are. As important as like Leslie Benzies and Dan Houser were to Rockstar, I think they've sort of like trained people to sort of like in their way of game design or whatever, or have development. So I think Rockstar will probably just carry on as it is. Like GTA 6 will probably just be like it'll be like GTA 5, I imagine. It'll play like it, but with some improvements, like probably smoother control and stuff like that. But I don't know if you guys saw it, but Leslie Benzies was in the news a couple of days ago he's raised something like $35 million for development of his GTA rival. Like he started his own game studio.
Really?
Yeah. Like he started his own game studio because I think he left Rockstar on like they weren't very kind to him, even though he was one of the people who basically made Rockstar what it is. But he's got his own dev studio and he's making an open world sandbox crime game called Everywhere, I think, or something like that. And he's got he's raised like some silly amount of money to fund it. But
wasn't there a BBC like adaptation of their story?
With Daniel Radcliffe, about like how Rockstar North, the one in Scotland, got its start.
Like just wanted to know if that was connected to Leslie Benzies.
Well, like I think he was probably like the most important figure to Rockstar because apparently like he was like the guy you went to if something needed fixing. Like he was the one who he could come in and rescue a project at the last minute. Because I think the story of it goes like Red Dead Redemption 1, like when it was nearing the end of development, apparently it was like the game was a complete mess. Like it was crashing all the time. Nothing worked properly. So they flew him over from like Scotland, where the Rockstar HQ is, and like brought him in, and like he had this reputation for being like a fixer, where he would come in and like make the games just work and be like, he'd work
by going, hey everyone, crunch, 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 don't go home, sleep under your desks.
Yeah.
Well,
I did the glass region.
I fucking did it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was coming in. He was putting the muscles on him, and he was like, "You're fucking stupid." And then they would fix the game.
And then they'd say, "What a great guy Leslie was! Wasn't he great?" Profits have never been higher.
Just like I'm just like his reputation within Rockstar was like, if you needed something sorting, he was the guy who could like just fix anything. But like he left on not great terms, I think.
Yeah, like I think I remember there being a story of like he went in one day and his pass didn't work,
Yeah,
Like, it was like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like very messy dispute and stuff going on, like ownership rights to Rockstar and stuff like that. Yeah, like I think other than that, I just think they'll probably just carry on as they are. You know, like I hope they make more games again. You know, because they've got some good franchises, Rockstar. Like make a new Midnight Club game or whatever. You know, we haven't got many street racing games anymore. They sort of died out in like 2008 or whatever. But make another Midnight Club. Make another Bully. Make another.
That's the one. That's the one that people are asking for, isn't it? Bully. They want that.
What happened to Agent? Do you remember that? That was announced.
Rockstar Table Tennis.
Yeah, why not? You know, just make something other than GTA for a change.
Okay, so do you want to talk about anything else before we do the new games for the coming week? Any other business?
Minecraft added some caves. That was it.
Right.
Steve got added to Smash. Just the Minecraft connection, I mean.
Yeah, Steve's in Smash. That's it.
Okay.
Little Minecraft update for you there from the boys.
Glad I asked. So this week kicks off with kind of long-awaited early access, I guess. Baldur's Gate is out on October the 6th, which is Tuesday. It's coming to Steam and Stadia, kind of turn-based. What is it? Yeah, turn-based RPG.
Well,
from Larian Studios. Jake says well, so I'm sure you can explain further in a second. Follow up to Divinity Original Sin 2, which is famously one of the games that Special Moves was built on, I would say.
I would say so. I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. I think
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of good time playing it, and we were formed in the boom of Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition, the console launch. Baldur's Gate 3, of course, being the sequel to the game from 2002. Baldur's Gate 2. It's Dungeons and Dragons, done Larian style. I am so fucking excited to talk about it, but I'll have to wait till next week or else I'll get my legs cut off. But I've got a lot to say, and I can't wait to tell you all about it next week when hopefully some of you listening would have also played it as well, so we can all talk about Wizards together. That's going to be good, isn't it?
What have you signed?
No, nothing really, just hyperbole. I thought they were going to send me a Slack message. But
Jake, question mark. That's all it is. So Baldur's Gate, that's a big one. That's a big one. On the Thursday, which is the 8th of October, there's a big update for Fall Guys. Which I haven't played as much of this as I thought I would end up playing, to be honest. I played it a little bit and I like it. I played a bit of it, but I thought I'd be on it a lot, but I'm not.
So the meta is that the game did really like it did well in people's front rooms for the first 2 weeks, and then for the next couple of weeks, more people were watching it rather than playing it. But then Among Us came out. Well, it's actually been out for years, but Among Us really hit a boom, which is like if you don't know what Among Us is by now, you know, what's the fucking point? I'm not explaining it to you. Just go on fucking twitter.com. Now, and then Fall Guys has kind of dropped off again. But Fall Guys Season 2 brings like some, again, wizards. Yeah, lots of wizards this week. It's a medieval themed update. I guess it's free. It brings in new maps, new modes. It'll probably see a resurgence. I reckon. You know, this time next week, you'll see it on Twitch again and whatnot. But who knows what it'll be like? I'm gonna definitely get it. I've already got Fall Guys installed on Steam, so I just installed the patch on the 8th and have a little spin. I reckon with my mates.
Yeah. It's I'll play it. I'll play it. I'm interested in seeing how they kind of evolve it beyond the initial sell of you know what it is. So how do you keep people coming back? Because with like Rocket League, they managed to innovate and stuff, but it wasn't like, I don't think it was huge. Like they added variations on the mode, and where there was one that was there one mode where Rocket League, instead of like kicking a ball in a goal, it was more like a basketball type.
Yeah,
thing.
That was like implemented like 4 years after launch as well, or something silly.
Yeah. But even that is still fundamentally you're just driving around crashing into the ball.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
really.
yeah. So this could be really big change. But there's a team of Fall Guys. I guess you might already know this, but you think it's an indie game, right? Because it was like the game that really boomed up. There's like over 200 people working on this.
Right.
So and Among Us there's one programmer. So I guess that's why people are more interested in that at the moment. It seems more weird and stuff. But yeah, let's see what those 200 people have been doing because they've obviously had some like meteoric success. So I'm looking forward to seeing if it's going to be a big change.
Yeah. Also on the same day, that's Thursday, October the 8th, is I Am Dead, which is out on PC, Mac, Nintendo Switch. It's an adventure puzzle game, Annapurna Interactive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is, but Annapurna is usually, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And then also the same day, Ikenfell or Ikenfell, I don't know what that is either. That's on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4 and Xbox One. Tactical role-playing game published by Humble Bundle, who I keep forgetting publish games now.
Tactical role-playing game out the same week as Baldur's Gate 3. Good. That's what I'll say.
I said Baldur's Gate is turn-based. It is turn-based, isn't it?
Yeah, you can play it in real time and pause it. But
can you?
Huh? Yeah.
How the fuck does that work?
You'll see when you play it.
Mortal.
Ikenfell looks like a Game Boy Advance game.
Cool.
It's like it's like cute, like Golf Story graphics kind of.
Right.
So I just looked. Yeah, it looks cool.
Nice. And Ride 4 is out on the same day on PC, PS4, Xbox One. Racing game. Liam, have you ever played this?
I think I played a demo for Ride 1 on the Xbox 360, like 10 years ago. I think it came...
I did. I remember that demo.
It came out, I think, around the same time. Do you remember that other racing game called Fuel, which was the one that was meant to be like a big open world?
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really remember much about it. I think it's about bikes more than anything.
Yeah, no, it is, yeah, right. Motorcycle racing.
All of them.
There's 4.
Apparently so.
If you're a fan of Ride 4, please make yourself known.
And if you're a developer of Ride 4, we're really sorry.
And capping off the week is another kind of sports title. It's not kind of, it is absolutely a sports title. FIFA 21 is out on 9th of October. So that's the Friday.
That means the UK is going to get shut down for the weekend because of how popular FIFA is.
Yep. Mad.
It's on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One. It's a football game. You know what it is.
Who's getting it on Switch, man?
I wondered that. Wasn't there one on the very early in the Switch? Basically the last gen version or something.
Yeah, with like a roster update.
Yeah, like the graphics, there was like features missing. Was there like no career mode or something stupid like that?
That's it. Yeah, it was basically whatever the game is on PS2. Which unbelievably still gets made. So yeah, I said it was a quiet week. I stand by that because I don't care about FIFA or Ride. But Fall Guys update, that's pretty good. And Baldur's Gate, you better believe that I'm going to be playing that. And
that's good.
Yeah,
it's all kicking off in November. If you want to have a little cheat and scroll ahead to November game releases, my God, that is a mess of new stuff, next gen updates for old games, cross gen stuff. It's
calm before the storm, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm booking some time off work, I think, when the consoles come out, and I want to play like Destiny and stuff on the next gen, and that I'm not going to touch it until the new update comes out, which I've been looking forward to anyway. Regardless of next gen, I've been really looking forward to this update. So I absolutely want to play Destiny 2 and the Beyond Light update, and I want to play some just next gen games as well. So I'm going to need some time off work.
I'm doing the same with Avengers. I'm not going on Avengers again until the PS5 patch is out for it. And then I'll re-download it. Because, my God, that game, I do enjoy it, despite all its flaws. Yeah. But holy shit, it is a bit of a technical mess at the same time and desperately needs some extra horsepower behind it.
Cool.
Right. Well, there's going to be a few games benefiting from that kind of thing, I imagine. The next couple of months. Okay, so that's the 100th special episode, which is exactly like a normal episode, except we keep saying it's a special episode.
And the lamp.
Oh, and the lamp, yeah, and the flame in Jake's eye. We're going to record a bonus podcast for the patrons in a sec after we've had a little cup of tea and what have you. Thanks everyone for listening. So make sure you check that out if you're a patron. Thanks everyone who sent in emails. Really good stuff this week again. Sorry for the ones we couldn't read out. Thank you everyone who sent us messages. Nice messages about the 100th anniversary episode. We read them all. We'll see you again soon.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.